Okay, it's pulling antifreeze into the unit now. Take about a minute and about 3 gallons of antifreeze if you see it going down in the antifreeze. And then when we start it up, we'll recover that. Now I'm going to trigger it off a couple of times so it'll put antifreeze into the bypass line. All right, there's antifreeze. We got antifreeze through the whole system. Let you circulate it just a little bit. Turn it back over to the freshwater tank. Cut. Thank you. Now we're going to kind of summarize everything. Environmental power washing is not discharging your wastewater to storm drain. Nothing down the drain but rain. Now then, how you accomplish that is up to the contract cleaner. So when you first get to a job site, you got a survey to which method is going to be the most economical way to pick up the wastewater and make sure it doesn't go down into the storm drain. Remember that the lower the level of technology, the less expensive it is to do it. In other words, picking up your silt and sludge all you can with a scoop shovel and sweeping it up with a broom and with a blower is going to be less expensive than putting it into your recycle system. So you want to pre-clean the surface. Tools of the trade are going to be a squeegee so that you can have some water control devices. So when you look at it, you want to figure out which way is going to be the most economical to clean the surface and to capture the wastewater. It could be with a vacuum recovery tool to where you're putting your wastewater down and you're picking it up, or it could be with a surface cleaner that doesn't capture the wastewater, that just lets it out. In that case, you're going to need some water control devices. You got your portable dams. Here's a 4-foot one, this is a 20-foot one without anything. You got your drain blockers. They can put down on top of the storm drain and fill it up with water, and then when you get through, you can dump it. You only want to put about 50% water in those. If you put in too much water, they'll pump the bladders. They'll pump the seams. I'm sorry. You want to move your water through some type of oil absorbent filter. And if you're going to pick it up with like a vacuum boom or a sump pump, you want to run your water through an oil absorbent filter. That's the first level of remediation that can do that's extremely cheap. It'll not only help filter out the sand and the sludge, it will pick up all the free hydrocarbons so there's no oil sheen. And from there, once it goes through a oil absorbent boom, you can either pick it up with a vacuum boom or a sump pump or your vacuum sludge filtering system. And that can be either hooked up to a vacuum boom, or in some cases a contractor just lay it down into the along a curb, or you know, if you have a pit like that, you can just lay it down there to where if you got a low spot where the water will puddle, you can pick it up. So you're going to have to survey the area. You're going to look at whether you're going to use a vacuum sludge filtering system. You're going to use it to recycle 16 or recycle the water, A lot of the contractors use the recycle system for a pre-treatment system before they put it down into the storm drain so they can, before they put it down into the sanitary sewer so it can be as clean as possible. In the city of Fort Worth, as long as you go through the vacuum sludge filtering system where you strain the water through a 200 micron filter and go through an oil absorbent boom, you can discharge that water with all your normal pressure washing chemicals for cosmetic cleaning down into the sanitary sewer legally. It costs $25 for the company per year, plus $25 for each rig. So if you got a contract cleaner that's in business by himself with run rig, it costs him $50 a year to legally discharge all his waste into the sanitary sewer of the city of Fort Worth. And we've had that in place since January the 2nd in 1996, which means over 12 years of history. That's had a positive impact. The contractors will do that if that's their most economical way to discharge the wastewater, which it is in the city of Fort Worth. And the sum total result of that is that Fort Worth has had to have almost zero expense in enforcement, and detergents in the storm drains have dropped from 65 to 70% down to 14 to 14% because the contractors have complied. They got a variable and an economic alternative to encourage them to do that. So, and that's true of every municipality in the United States. The amount of wastewater that the contractor is discharging to the POTWs, or the sanitary sewer tree, is insignificant when combined with all the other waste, and they'll never know they're even getting it. All right, we want to cover to the meat of the subject, what we're here for now. Npdes permits. This audience should know everything, but a fast review is for phase 1. They were due in 92 and 93, so we've gone on to about 15 years now. And phase 2, there was 2003, and they're a 5-year program, and we're just now getting to the end of that 5 years, and all other areas that are notified by the AHJ. The training for the phase 2 started in 2005, 6, and 7, and this is part of that. If you're not aware, and I assume all municipalities are at this time, the EPA has some excellent webcasts. I attend a lot of them, that if you'll sign up for them ahead of time, if you'll do the webcast when it comes on, you'll get a certificate at the end of it for training, which is similar to these seminars you have here. It makes it easy because you can do it during the day. They have it set up so you need to do one person at a time or a group. And I was trying to figure out the easiest way for you to find those on the internet. The easiest for me was to Google Npdes training courses and workshops, and that will take you to that training site. And they got some coming up next week or so, similar to the ones that they're having here. For the phase 2, you all should be familiar that you got 6 requirements to get into: public education and outreach, public involvement in outreach, what effects of power washing is illicit discharge detection and elimination, and we'll get into some details on that. Construction site runoff, 1 acre and larger. That's what almost all the phase 2s. In phase 1s, the silt and sludge were the biggest problem, so basically power washing was under the radar gun. They didn't even know it existed, and some regulators actually said we preferred for it to go to nights and weekends so we don't have to deal with it right now. I had one enforcement officer said it was just like being at home. You got a stack of paperwork you got to work on. You take the worst problems first, and power washing is down here on the bottom. We'll get to it in 5 years. Well, that time is now.